Hello, I'm Dr. Hannah Capon and I'm here to talk to you about making sure that your home environment for your young dog is suitable. Now, all of us get dogs because we want companionship. All of us plan adventures, walks, hikes, holidays with our best mates. But for them to be able to do that, we need to make sure that they grow up properly. And when I talk about grow up, I mean physically develop appropriately. Now, for them to grow, they're not just getting bigger in size. There's a very complex interplay between their bones, their nervous system, their ligaments, their muscles, their tendons, all developing at the appropriate rate with perfection with each other to make sure they turn into that dog that has got agility, strength, stamina, power, balance, so that when they are exercising, when they're walking, when they're hiking, when they're running after things, they have the ability to manage that without injury. That's what we want. We don't want these dogs having injuries. So how do we make sure that they grow up well? There's a number of things to think about, and we're going to tackle them in other episodes. But one area that I'd really like to look into is the home environment. Now, there's not much literature out there for us to refer to, mostly common sense, but there has been a couple of studies that have really highlighted the importance of the environment that we rear our puppies in, that we bring them up in. One study looked at the flooring of the whelping box, and they found that puppies that were reared on a slippery floor were more likely to develop hip dysplasia. And hip dysplasia leads to hip arthritis, and that leads to pain and suffering. So by making sure that your puppy is on a grippy floor, that should minimize the risks of them developing a condition such as hip dysplasia. And it certainly is likely to lead to less injuries because they're not going to slip and trip and fall. Another study looked at when puppies grew, in what season. And they found that puppies that were able to be brought up in the spring and the summer seasons tended to have less chance of developing hip dysplasia. And one of the thoughts was, were they able to be outside more on a tractional surface, on an undulating tractional surface, so as they grew they didn't have to suffer slips and trips and falls and slides and skids? Did that influence whether they developed that disease? And there's a common logical thought of, yeah, it did. So what I'm going to say today is really think about your flooring. Make sure that your puppy, your young dog, is on a grippy flooring so that they have the ability to grow up appropriately, so their joints form appropriately, their muscles form appropriately, their nervous system forms appropriately. Think about their access to the stairs. Do they need to be running up and down the stairs? No, they don't. Think of all the injuries that could happen if they slip, trip and fall down those stairs. Do they need to be jumping on and off the sofa? No, they don't. Maybe if they go up there and they have sleep because it's their position of comfort, they can see everything in the room, but they don't need to be jumping on and off the sofa. We don't want that. So what we want to do is make sure that they are in our home environment, not prone to injuries. We're going to talk about exercise next, so I'll see you in the next episode.